So in today's video, we are looking at ActiveCampaign, how to create an e-newsletter template, and then how to make instances of that template so that you can create a newsletter that you send out weekly, fortnightly to your mailing list. Hi, I'm Angela McCall and this is McCall Media TV, a small YouTube channel dedicated to helping small business owners conquer their online digital marketing efforts. We look at the technologies involved, the strategies, the service providers and everything else in between that helps glue these companies together. If you like what it is that I do, please do support me. I am a small channel, so by subscribing and clicking that bell to stay notified really does help me out. And if you can add your comments below, I'll answer as many queries that you may have. And obviously that also gives me a little bit more of a feedback as to how the content I'm delivering helps you in your daily endeavours. We are talking all about ActiveCampaign and our email marketing list and how we can send out a regular newsletter with the minimal effort every week, fortnight, monthly, daily, whatever you want to do using ActiveCampaign. So I'm diving over to my ActiveCampaign account. As you can see over here, I've already logged in and I'm on my dashboard. Now the first thing that I'm going to do is I'm going to scroll on over to where it says campaigns. Now if you have watched any of my other videos, you will know that I have my fingers in various pies, shall we say. So I actually have 3 or 4 different branches to my business. In fact, let me quickly show you that as lists. Lists I've already set up and I have partially covered in a video before now. So I will put that video up here as a card for you to go and click on. It was a couple of months ago now that I published that one on how to get started with ActiveCampaign. Okay, so as you can see here, I have my fingers in lots of pies and I've got a McCall Media, which is my main mailing list at the moment that I'm focusing on. And I've got 110 contacts in there, that's fine. I've also got other branches of my business. I'm launching a networking club over the next month or so. If you've seen my second YouTube channel, you know I've got point and click puzzle games. So I've set it up, but I've not done anything with it yet. And so I've got lots of things going to be happening. And one of the biggest challenges is time. As a small business owner, I have to juggle lots of hats and I want to be able to dive in and get a task done, kind of forget about it and move on to the next thing in my business that I've got to get it done. So one of the easiest ways to manage that time management and to create a consistency and a brand image across all my emails is to ensure that I have a e-newsletter template set up. So if we dive back on over here, you will see where we've got campaigns. And then you will see that I've obviously sent lots of different emails over the last few months. And you can see here where I'm circulating my cursor that these are all one-time campaigns. So the kind of the perfect use and feature and tool that you want to use for creating a weekly newsletter. Now this one here that has less data showing is because it's in a draft status. This is the e-newsletter that I set up as a template last night, ready to send out this Friday. Now I'm going to quickly talk you through that so I can give you some food for thought for things that you can do in your own business. But essentially we're going to look at some of the ways that we can set up templates as well. Now I've actually started to populate this content. I've created myself a little banner. I have a variable there called first name, which will basically populate the email with the recipient's first name, funnily enough. I've got a little welcome blurb, and then what I've done is I've thought of lots of different things that I want to talk to my audience about. Now, this isn't going to necessarily be the same thing every single week. So what I've done is I've set it up in a way that I can just quickly click on it and then delete this, and it's going to ask me, are you sure? And I can click yes, and then I can help customize my newsletter weekly with slightly different content, but whatever's relevant and going on in my business. The idea of my newsletter is that I want it to be used as like a kind of a prompt, literally as a newsletter, like a newspaper for my business with all different articles, lots of different things that have been going on. So people can go and find links to the full blog article or watch the full YouTube video or go and check out a service if they're stuck that I can help them with without necessarily having to preach to them in the email itself. I will also be using those kind of long draft emails where you write a lot of copy as another different type of strategy in my e-newsletter marketing strategy, shall we say, going forwards. But right now, just getting into the rhythm of a once a week publishing a newsletter to my audience, this is the strategy that I'm using. So let's have a quick look around this environment. before we go into building up a template. So we've got some graphics and images and all sorts going on, and then down the bottom here I've also got my standard email footer signature that I use in my actual Outlook. And again, I've got a video about that I'll pop up here that you can go and see on how to customize and create your own email HTML signature. And again, as a little bit of a big up for that particular video, one of the reasons you want to take ownership of the customization of your email signatures is primary use right now is to be able to just copy and paste that HTML into Outlook or into ActiveCampaign in the way I have done here. Okay, so let's come out of here right now and just quickly dive back on over to my dashboard on ActiveCampaign, because we're going to set up a template because I need to create one for my point and click puzzle games business. So the first thing we're going to do is we're going to come on over to where it says campaigns, and then on the left hand side we have a couple of sub menu items. Variables are things like that first name field that have the percentage marks around it. That's how ActiveCampaign identifies a variable that's going to be replaced with a person's name. In that tab you can go tweak and change as you feel fit. I generally find I don't need to, but this one here, it says manage templates. This we do use quite a bit when you're creating your templates. Okay, so as you can see, I've got 3 templates going on. One to send out like that long draft email content and copy that I was telling you about. Then I've got one for my newsletter for my networking business that's going to be launching real soon that I've already set up. Then we've got my McCall Media one that I was just showing you. So I'm going to take a copy of this right now. Because it's kind of along the same lines of what I want to do for my point and click puzzle games business as well. Okay, so as you can see up here, there is a copy of this actual template. So I need to change the header to point and click puzzle games. So let's start by doing that. So let's just delete this for a minute because let's pretend we didn't have this to start with. I'm going to keep those 2 lines, but essentially these are the line breaks over here. You can just drag them in and drop them, and then when you click on an item you'll be able to get the controls up to colour it, and you can see there that it's a black line, and it's just like any other HTML kind of thing. You just pick your colours, or if you know the code to start with, you can pop it in there. So I'm just going to delete that as well. I quite like setting my newsletters up with this at the top because it means that it kind of gives like a sort of a letterhead feel to the newsletter, a bit like having a newspaper itself with a front page. So I'm just going to come over here to it says image, and I'm just going to drop that in between those 2 lines. There you can see it's a blank placeholder, and I'm going to double click on it, and then it's going to give me my image manager. Now obviously I've been using my account for a wee while, so you can see here that I've got all sorts of different images available, but I've only just realised that you can actually put these into folders. So one of the things that I'm going to show you is that I actually want you to create and manage your content, because as you can see it's already starting to get a bit busy and there's no structure. If you click on create folder, I'm just going to call this point and click puzzle games because that's what this newsletter template is going to be for. And that means now any images that I want to create can actually live inside that folder. So I'm just going to click on this create folder button. I'm going to give it a point. I normally put the and click like that with an ampersand, but I've just discovered it doesn't like that, so I'm going to put the word and instead. Point and click puzzle games. Okay, and I'm going to click on OK, and then just by magic here comes my folder. Clicking on it actually opens the folder itself. As I've just created it, there is no content, so I'm going to add an image right now. So there's my image. It's a transparent PNG. I'm just going to save that now. It's going to upload it, and then if I re-click on it you can see the word choose, and there we go, it's inserted. Okay, so I'm just going to quickly change these colours. These were the colours that I used for my other brand image from McCall Media TV. So I've got the codes there. I'm going to put the light blue at the top, which is the blue from the point, and I've got the red colour that is being used here in the puzzle. So I'm just going to click on this one and change the colour. Now you can see here that the height of the line is 5 pixels and the height of this line is only 1 pixel, and that both of them are spreading 100% the width of the template, which is absolutely fine. I haven't coloured in the actual background block of the line itself. I didn't want that, and I haven't coloured in the actual column itself. I didn't want to do that, but again, you can tweak and play as much as you want. This is basically what it does, so don't like it, and then you can go back to the transparent there. So now I've got my header. What I've also got down here, just to give a little bit of space, is an empty spacer, and that's this item here. So again, let's delete that and add it back in so you can see. Let's delete that, yes. You might be happy with the spacing that is provided. I just think there needs to be a little bit more of a gap at the top. So I drag the spacer over, and then when you click on it, the options to edit it will appear on the right hand side. So I could say, for example, I want it to be 15 pixels deep. There you go, just to give it a little space. And again, I could colour the block of that particular feature that I've just added. I can add padding to it on various different sides and margins, and I could also colour the background if I wanted to. Here I've got the first name. Now I particularly like to use my text blocks using Roberto because it's the closest to the font that I use on my website. But essentially, inserting blocks here, there's 2 or 3 things that you can do. So I am just going to grab this block from above it and I'm going to slip it in there. Okay, so here's where it says click here to add text. Now one of the interesting things, it says Arial here, the size, colour, bold, italic, underline, the alignment itself, whether you want it left, centered or right or justified. If you want to turn it into a hyperlink, which is what these URL links here are, but you can also add an image into this text box field, which is exactly how I've created my thumb holder place images here. Personalize, that's how you've got this first name field in here. And then down here, if you expand the option, you can also indent it, bullet list, numbered list, strike through, horizontal line if you want to, or you can clear the text formatting completely. And you may find that if you're going to copy and paste text from like maybe Microsoft Word, when you're using things like Microsoft Word itself comes with its own formatting that can often be copied over as well. And when you paste it into documents or into tools such as ActiveCampaign, you may find that the hidden formatting that doesn't show in Microsoft Word suddenly appears all over your text in the ActiveCampaign environment. So using things like pasting it in there and then selecting the text and using that clear text format basically wipes all formatting away from the text, leaving you with like a kind of a blank canvas to be able to then style that text the way that you want. So I just thought I'd show you that. The next little nifty thing that I want to show you is that you can actually place text boxes left and right of each other side by side to make columns. So as you can see here, if you look at the little green marker, it's saying do you want to place the text box above, below, and if I click, yeah, there you go, keep sliding to the left, it shows it's on the left hand side. So what I've got now is the ability to create columns, and I can actually do this 2 or 3 times. So again, if I keep sliding, there you go, I'm putting a middle column in, and what's actually happened here is that this column is now taking up 50% of the template, and these two have gone side by side, so they're actually taking up 25 and 25% respectively. So if I was to click on one of these and look over here on the right hand side, it gives me the other options that I can use to play with it. Basically, I could colour it, I could give it a margin, so that means that the text doesn't touch each other. I've got the padding as well inside the box itself, and so on. So there's lots of things that you can do, and it's just a matter of tweaking and playing and dragging and dropping from this menu and then clicking on the item to be able to customize its options. Now I'm going to delete that because I've already got my paragraph newsletter set up, so it's just going to take me a second. As you can see, to delete items, you click on it, use the cog, delete this, are you sure? Yes, go. And then you can do the same thing here. And it's actually saying what you could do is you save the content to the library. Now this is quite handy. Say for example, this particular team update here is a text box that I've now styled as a template, and obviously I've repeated duplicates of it down the page and just changed the title, but I could save that as a content to my library, and then I could do it as a newsletter subtopic category. And now I've got this saved block of text that I can actually drag, pre-formatted, pre-aligned, pre-set up anytime I need to on any newsletter, anywhere. Okay, so that's kind of how we set up the template. Now down here, if we go back to insert and we go to blocks, we've got this HTML block over on the right hand side, and we can literally just drag that in and again drop it like we would anything else. And it says here, click here to add HTML, and then what happens, it opens up this custom HTML box. So as I said to you a little moment ago, up here I will put that card, if I haven't shown it already, showing you how to create a HTML footer, but you literally just copy and paste your footer signature that you've either designed yourself or a website designer has designed for you, and you can paste it in there. Likewise, you could also just keep it really simple and just put yourself a little transparent signature like I have done there. It's just a PNG transparent file that I've made with a fancy scriptive text in something like Photoshop. Now, there's a couple of other things that I want to show you that will be a bit more advanced that we will go on to in other tutorials. Okay, so here's my weekly roundup for the end of this week. One of the things that I want to do, say for example down here we've got a YouTube video. Okay, this is for my McCall Media TV channel. I could click on the image itself, and then over on the right hand side where the options are, there is the ability to add in a link for that URL for that video. So just like you would open up any YouTube video, click share and get the URL, you can pop it in there, along with an alternative descriptive text for screen readable browsers that read for people that with sort of visual impairments. Now, I haven't chosen to do that on this particular case because I've also got a link down here which is like my little mini call to action. This is just a straightforward piece of text that I've turned into a link. Now, one of the things that I want to show you here is that there's the actual URL to the video, but because I'm trying to cross-pollinate some of my audience into other areas of my business that might be of interest to them, I want to make sure that if somebody clicks on one of my McCall Media TV channel videos, I'm also going to make sure that they're going to be subscribed to my McCall Media list, so that when I send and I expand my business, I can start to segment my newsletters specifically to the audiences that want to receive them. Okay, and you can do that quite quickly by adding an action, subscribe them to a list, and then tell them what list that you want to subscribe them to. Nice and easy. So my other example here is point and click puzzle games is now becoming branched off in my business as a sort of a secondary sub business of McCall Media Limited. At the moment, it's going to stay that way for probably a couple of years, but if it starts to take off, I may well make it a business in its own right. So that means I want to grow a mailing list for that arm of my business. So likewise, where I've said to them there, I've updated with 3 more videos. What you can do is go and visit that YouTube channel to learn more. So that particular link, what I've done is I've actually subscribed that person to my point and click puzzle games mailing list. So at the moment, everybody that is in the McCall Media mailing list is going to receive this email, but it does mean that by doing and working this way, if they're interested to know what I've been doing with my mobile apps, or they're interested in joining my networking club, they're going to be able to find themselves being added to other lists, which will help me cross-pollinate my audience around all areas of my business. So that's one little trick that I want to show you. And of course, in due course, I can then set up automations to say you've been added to this because you clicked on this link and all the rest of it. But at the moment, that's where I'm at. Finally, the last thing that I want to show you is up here. You can see here we've got a summary and the send screens still to work through. So if I just quickly click on that cog, some of this that we can also add to help us. I've actually got the welcome subject line, which will be the one that people will see in their inbox, but some inbox and some email clients will actually show a pre-header text, at which point, just to help me and my audience understand what's going on, I've quickly put this is my weekly roundup, and then I've put the date because I am going to send this on a weekly basis, and it helps if I spelt January, there you go, correctly. All right, then I've made sure it shows my name nice and clear from the from, and then I've made sure that all these other settings are turned on. So that's just something else there, and you can see I've passed the spam check. So I'm just going to close that. I'm then going to click on the next button. So this is the actual email campaign. This isn't the template we're working on now. This is the actual newsletter itself. Now, when I've clicked on that cog, I've set it up, which is fine. And so you can see here on this campaign summary page, it's duplicated some of this information across, which is great. And then it's given me another summary, just again, which mailing list I'm sending this to. I could indeed send this one newsletter to 3 or 4 or all of my mailing lists, but I'm not. I'm trying very hard to segment my business so that I don't lose subscribers by sending them information that they are not interested in. So people subscribe to McCall Media TV, want to know about digital marketing, but they might also then choose to subscribe to point and click puzzle games or my networking mailing list, etc. So I am just going to click next, and as you can see up here in the top, it's actually just bumped me back from the summary page to the list, and it's going to send me through the design page again. So there's always ways to sort of navigate through, and if all else fails, save and exit without sending, and then you'll be able to come back through this process and tweak again. So I'm just skipping forward one more time to get back to that summary page. Okay, then down here, some things that you need to think about. Open read tracking. This is really important. I'm going to show you what that means in a minute, but essentially after the newsletter has been sent, you can open up the stats on the report and see who exactly has opened that newsletter, who's read it, how many times they've opened it, and so forth. You can also customize the link tracking, which I will go into in more detail in the future, but for now just turn it on. And I'm also going to turn on the ability to reply. I don't like the whole of that email saying no reply at McCall Media. I don't like that. I want people to be able to reply if they've got a question. All of that effort to get people into my mailing list and then tell them not to talk to me, that doesn't make sense to me. So I work slightly different to other people, but I'm also going to turn on my Google Analytics. Again, I've already customized this and I will show this in another video. But these are things that you should really be ticking on, because it's all about reporting to you, giving you information, giving you feedback, statistics, seeing what's working, what's not working, and so on. And the more information you get, the more powerful you can make your newsletters to your audience and more meaningful in the future. My campaign is scheduled to send, so I'm going to turn that on, for example, and as I want this to be sent this week on a specific date, which is Friday the 15th, and I'm going to be sending my newsletters now just after 1 o'clock. So basically, as a afternoon summary, when people feel like they want to browse the internet a little bit, they might just pop in and see, and they might have a time to surf a little bit more. So that's kind of my thought process at the moment. And then if I want to send a test email, I can do so. I am going to hit finish, and it should give me the option to send or formalize. Let me remind myself. There we go. So now you can see this is a one-time email campaign that is due to be sent in 3 days, and if I hover over that, you can see it pops up for 3 days, and it has the date, the 15th of January. You can see that I've given it a label here for McCall Media TV, and that it's giving you a little preview. And again, that's another reason why it's handy to name the actual campaign itself. That's meaningful to you, remembering that the name of the campaign isn't the subject line that the recipient is going to see. That's a separate entity at all. So let's go back through. Last one I sent was before Christmas, 8th of December. I can view the report, and I just want to show you what happens with regards to those open rates. Now this was me sort of tattling off a little bit, but we've got 20% open rate, and we can track down here people that have opened the email, what's going on, and so on. It'll also give me an hourly trend, so you can see there how quickly things get opened and when the most popular times of the day are. So you can see there that actually a lot of my opens took place at 10 o'clock, at 12 o'clock and at 2 o'clock. So that's why I'm going to try for now the whole maybe 1 o'clock in the afternoon, because it's this lunchtime busy period here. And again, a lot more traction in the afternoon. Okay, so here you can see there's a couple of unsubscribes, a bounce. Now, whenever I find a bounce, if you click on that itself, it will tell you what email address bounced. Ironically, they are little me playing, so there's no answer from the host because they couldn't, it doesn't exist, so it's trying to send it somewhere that doesn't exist. Hard bounce means it just like no matter what they did, it wouldn't send. And so if I get this from people that subscribe to my mailing list, I just delete them out because it's just going to constantly cause me grief in the future. A soft bounce is more like it's someone's mailbox is full up, so the mailbox exists but they still can't deliver the email because there's no room on their server, and that often happens with small businesses or solopreneurs that are using like a pop email account that they've set up themselves through their domain name. So you might find that as well at some point. Over here on the left hand side, there's lots of things that you can do. There's the overview of the campaign itself, which is this page here. You can get to see the message that was sent, and it should just quickly pop up. There we go, it takes a second. So I was telling people about a particular video, which is why I'm also changing my tactic. So instead of saying one email a week on just I've published this video, which might not be of interest to people at all, what I'm doing is a little bit of a newsletter that has lots of different types of subjects to hopefully keep people a lot more interested behind the scenes. Open and reads, 39 opens in total, 27 of them were unique. 82 of them did not bother, and 1.44 recipients, or it's basically an average of 1.4 recipients open and read. And there you can see how many times they've opened it: 2 times, and so on and so on and so on. Okay, that's it from me today. I hope you found this video also useful to you in part of your ActiveCampaign and e-marketing endeavours. If you've got any questions or comments, please put them below. Do subscribe to my channel, click that bell to stay notified. I publish videos 3 times a week, and I'll see you on another video real soon. Thanks for watching.